Life on Mars, from the Vedic Hindu perspective. In traditional Vedic astrology, Mars is a masculine planet signifying strength and supremacy. The planet's name is Mangala, the god of anger, and is sometimes linked to Kartikeya, known as the regent of Mars. I'll get more into him later. Mangala is described as the son of Bhumi, the earth goddess. He was born when she was raised from the depth of the Garbhodaka ocean by the Graha avatar more than 1.5 billion years ago. This presentation, however, is not about Mars as a graha, an object with astrological meaning. It is about life there. So let's turn to the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. In many of my other presentations, I showed how the geocentric, Earth-centered orbits of the planets of the solar system match the concentric rings of Bhu-mandala. That remarkable match includes distances of millions of miles in space. Now, the inner boundary of the geocentric orbit of Mars touches the outer edge of the island of Kraunca, and Mars's outer orbit is the same as the outer edge of Bhu-mandala's freshwater ocean. Now, many scholars have associated the realms of Bhu-mandala as continents on Earth. However, with descriptions of sophisticated populations and plenty of fauna and exotic oceans on islands millions of miles away in space, it seems the 5th canto is describing life on other planets, but life that is not detectable by our traditional 5 senses or by machines sent there by the likes of NASA. Anyway, in chapter 20 of the 5th canto, we read that the main mountain on Kraunca-dvip has become fearless because it is always bathed on all sides by the ocean of milk and protected by Varunadev. The ruler of this island was a son of the powerful Maharaj Priyavata, who reigned more than 1 billion years ago during the Uttama Manvantara. His name was Prista, and he was a very learned person. He divided his island amongst his sons. Then he completely retired from family life and took shelter of the Lord. Then we read something intriguingly in the present tense, that the inhabitants of Kraunca-dvip are divided into 4 varnas, castes. Using the waters of those sanctified rivers, they worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead by offering a palm full of water at the lotus feet of Varuna, the demigod of water. Bhaktivinoda Swami Prabhupada purported that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur wrote, "The inhabitants of the various sections of Kraunca-dvip offer the sanctified waters of the rivers to a deity made of iron or stone." Now that's interesting because Mars is plentiful of iron. Now these demigod activities are either invisible to us or could be the other side of portals between Mars and a higher realm. And does to travel to other dimensions that way also mean to travel in time? Well, do consider that many mainstream scientists are open to the theory that Mars had oceans and even plants on its surface millions of years ago. It seems that whether such a high realm exists via Mars or not, there's something else to consider. Verse 18 of that chapter reads, "On Kraunca-dvip there is a great mountain known as Kraunca, from which the island takes its name. The vegetables living on the slopes of Mount Kraunca were attacked and devastated by the weapons of Kartikeya." Now this is part of a longer story in ancient Indian text and is written in the past tense. There was once an extremely powerful demon called Tarakasura. Lord Shiva, though, sent his son Kartikeya with his armies to destroy Tarakasura and his followers. A great many died in that huge war. The demon Bala fought hard, but afraid of Kartikeya, he and his armies fell back to Kraunca, where they sheltered under its mountain. Kartikeya shattered Kraunca with his spear weapon, which shrieked like a Kraunca, a crane. Hundreds of thousands of asuras were killed, and the place was devastated. In a couple of my former presentations, I touched on how the humanoid species across the Vedic universe have bodies made of different combinations of gross and subtle elements. The demons operate on a grosser elemental level than the demigods, and are therefore more likely to leave behind visible evidence. That brings me on to the final section of this presentation. I'll be leaving you with a series of images taken on Mars, which, in the eyes of some, may be evidence of humanoid life on that planet long ago, that was devastated during a huge war. Of course, many of the images I'm going to show may well be simple rocks that the human minds have built, or perhaps not. Yet, for example, consider what was left behind after Mount Vesuvius showered volcanic debris over the Roman city of Pompeii. Anyway, you decide.